I made over $350,000 as a UGC creator, and the one thing that will 10x your income is not a new fancy camera, it's not more followers, and it's definitely not more creativity. It's boring, it's repetitive, and nobody's doing it, which is exactly why the creators that do it end up making all the money. In this video, I'm gonna show you one boring habit that if you implement this, I can guarantee you will multiply your UGC income in the next 6 to 12 months. And if you want your UGC to feel like a business, not like a guessing game, this is the unsexy video that changes that. One of the biggest mistakes that I see new UGC creators make when they get started in UGC is they get on these apps and they start landing these $30 to $50 brand deals. And they are just kind of stuck in this hamster wheel of like trying to land these brand deals on these apps. Maybe they get gifted collaborations, maybe they land $30 to $50 deals and they think they're just like building their portfolio or building their experience. But the problem is you end up getting stuck in this trap of only thinking you're worth $30 to $50. So when I tell you that our students average $500 per video, you're like, how the hell? That's literally 10 times what I'm charging right now. And it's not because your content isn't good. It's literally because they're doing this one thing, and that is cold pitching to brands via email consistently. When I first started in UGC, I was doing all the things. I was spread out over the apps. I was posting on social media, trying to land that way. And I was also doing cold pitching. I pitched probably 500 brands my first month, and I was doing it all wrong. It ended up taking me 4 months to land my first paid collaboration because I was so spread thin. I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't doing it correctly, and nobody was there to teach me and guide me. So I'm going to tell you how to do this reach out in a way that's actually going to be impactful for you and that's actually going to get you results. Even as a 6-figure creator, I am still pitching consistently. I now have a virtual assistant that does it for me, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit, but I still pitch consistently and will land long-term collaborations off of these pitches. But the one thing I do need you to understand is that pitching is a numbers game. The more pitches you send out, the more likely you are to land these high-paying brand deals. Additionally, it's a compounding game, right? So a lot of times you'll start pitching and you won't hear back from brands for like 3 weeks. So if you stop pitching, you're not compounding these numbers. I say this to our students all the time. The hardest collaboration for you to land is your first one. And after that, it just kind of snowballs from there if you've been consistently pitching, because this one habit needs time to build. And I told you, this is not sexy. This is not anything that anybody wants to do, but this is the one skill, the one habit that separates really big UGC creators from people that get stuck with these $30 to $50 videos. So let's talk about why most people won't do it. Well, number one, people are afraid of rejection. A lot of people will send 10 pitches and get 9 no's and be like, oh, I suck, I'm terrible, and they will never ever pitch again. And I get it. It's this ingrained idea that there's something wrong with you, but I need you to know there's nothing wrong with you. That's just how sales work. And I came from a network marketing background where literally this was deeply ingrained in me. I did reach outs and follow-ups, like hundreds of them a day, with the expectation that I was going to get mostly no's, because right now may not be a good time, or maybe your pitch didn't resonate, or maybe they just don't have the budget for UGC right now. Just because somebody said they can't work with you right now, it doesn't mean that they're never going to work with you, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. So you have to get past this fear of rejection because it is holding you back in so many ways. The second reason that people don't pitch is because they get stuck in this waiting trap. They're like, I sent 5 pitches to brands. What do you mean? I'm just waiting for them to get back to me. I can guarantee you, especially if you only sent 5 pitches, you probably pitched to brands like Skims, Drunk Elephant, Tatcha, like huge brands that probably won't even see your pitches. And if you're not doing it correctly and making it personalized to those brands, they're definitely not going to get back to you. The other side of the waiting game is that a lot of creators will just post on socials and wait for brands to DM them. They're like, nobody's noticing me. I posted a video and I tagged a brand and they're not reaching out to me. Yeah, babe, it took me 4 months of consistently posting as a UGC creator to start getting inbounds. And I have a lot of experience creating content. I mean, this is a numbers game. So if you're only sending 3 pitches or you're only posting on social media and waiting for brands to reach out to you, could you imagine the impact, the speed in which you could get to your goal faster if you just committed to 10 pitches a day? 10 pitches a day over 90 days is going to be 900 pitches. I would guarantee you would start landing some brand deals. The third reason that people don't reach out to brands is completely ego driven. It's literally like, my portfolio isn't good enough. I need more followers. I shouldn't have to reach out to brands. They should find me, blah, blah, blah. If you really wanted to start UGC and you were really serious about making this a career, you could build a portfolio in a literal day. I mean, film and edit 5 videos, put it into a Canva portfolio and start reaching out literally tomorrow. But most of you want things to be too perfect, and so you'll never do that. And I think the biggest thing to keep in mind with that and reality check around that is that you will never learn if you never implement. So you never learn how to get better if you're just constantly like watching everybody else do it. You have to implement, mess up, change it, fix it, implement, mess up, change it, fix it. That's the only way you actually learn. I can sit here and I can teach you and break down exactly how to do a really high quality pitch, exactly what brands to pitch, exactly how to get your first paid collaboration, and 99% of you won't do it because you think that you have to learn everything first, when in fact you actually learn way more by doing. So here's why you shouldn't give a single fuck about any of those excuses and why you should start pitching to brands today. Number one, you're gonna die anyway. I mean, I hate to be the one to say it, but if you're afraid of embarrassing yourself or getting rejected, like in 80 years, we're not gonna be on this planet anyway. That brand manager that you maybe said the wrong thing to, they're not gonna be here either. Like, this is all so finite, and YOLO is so like cliche, but really you only live once, and you are acting like you get multiple lives. Like you get multiple chances in this. Maybe in your next life, you'll be born less scared. I mean, I don't really know. Second thing you need to remember is that rejection isn't personal. It's actually data. Each pitch that you send is just market research. It could just mean wrong time, wrong brand. They have no budget left over. It literally almost never means that you suck. I've never had a brand say to me that we don't want your content specifically because you're terrible. They wouldn't say that. Actually, more often than not, you're either going to get ghosted, or a brand's going to say, we love your content, but we're not working with any UGC creators right now, so we'll put you on a list. And you feel like that's a rejection for some reason, but it's not. They actually do put you on a list. And the third thing to remember is that the more you pitch, the less you're going to care. Because the more you pitch, the more obsolete it becomes, the more consistently you're doing it, the more it just feels like part of your day, the more it just starts to become a game, the more it's like, oh, how many pitches can I send today? And when you start to fall in love with this boring process, when you start to fall in love with the boring tasks that the high performers are doing, I'm telling you right now, that's when you start to win. That's when you start to change your story. And actually, when you start to care less, your pitches get better because you're less desperate. I used to have this, we used to call it commission breath in network marketing, where basically anybody could tell that you were just messaging them to make a sale. And sometimes brands can tell that you're just messaging them because you're looking for brands to work with. You don't actually care about working with them specifically. There's nothing specific or personal about them that feels aligned to you. And what I need you to really remember is that there is literally just freaking humans on the other side of that email. Those brand managers that you're so scared of, that marketing team that you're so scared of, is literally just a girl. Literally just a girl. Okay? Just keep that in mind. It's just a girl. You gotta just, hey bestie, like, I would love to work with your brand, and here's why you should want to work with me. That's it. So how are you going to start pitching and how are you going to make it scalable? Well, I'm going to tell you, because when I first started in UGC, it was a very, very manual process. I had to think of the brand, and then I had to go to their page, and I would start looking for their marketing email. And then I would go to their website and look there. And if I couldn't find it anywhere, I would either have to email their like main email, or I would have to DM them on socials and say, hey, what's your marketing email? Once I finally got that, then I would have to personally write a pitch for every single brand. Once that pitch was written and sent, I would put them on a list. And then the list would be a manual follow-up list. So every 3 days, I would have to go back through the list and send a follow-up email, because if you're not sending follow-up emails, you're wasting your pitching. I'm telling you right now, most of your responses are going to come on the follow-up email. And it was exhausting. I mean, it took me 10, 20, 30 minutes per brand. Could you imagine me trying to do 10 a day? It was crazy. But right now, there is a system out there that is very, very scalable and makes your life so easy. And it's called Bento. So if you go to onbento.com, you can actually use my coupon code and get 10% off. It's just Sydney10. But Bento is the actual literal GOAT for achieving this and for making this so easy. You can reach out to 10 brands in seconds with Bento. So it's basically an online database that has a ton of brands in it and all of these brand contacts. And what you can do is you can sort by, do they work with UGC creators? What country are they from? What niche are they in? All of these things, you can all sort to find the perfect brand for you. My suggestion is actually to pitch to all niches, because your niche will find you. If you think that I originally came into this wanting to work with tech brands, no, I wanted to get free furniture for my house, okay? So basically, once you sort through and you look at all of the brands, you can actually automatically send emails to brands through the platform. Bento will help you write your pitch. It will set up automatic follow-ups for you. It will keep track of everything. It will tell you when a brand responds to you and you need to write back to them. It will help you write your responses. It tracks what pitches are performing best, what's getting the most open rates, what's getting the most replies. I mean, it makes pitching so fucking easy that if you're not pitching, I don't know what to do for you. You probably shouldn't be a UGC creator then. They also have a really cool feature, and this is what I use. It's called the VA, and the VA basically is going to send about 300 pitches for you a month. You just kind of give them the pitches that you want them to use, and then you give them the niches that you want them to pitch in, and they will just start sending these pitches automatically for you. This is what I use as somebody that's really, really busy and cannot do the pitching myself. But pitching, honestly, once you get into a flow with it, you can do this yourself, and I actually really recommend doing it manually first, and then maybe getting a VA a little bit later, just so you can learn a little bit and you can test and you can play and you can kind of learn what works well for you and what doesn't work for you. But if somebody's doing it for you and you're kind of having this manual pitching system, it's a lot harder to actually keep up with what's working. I pitched for about 2 years manually before I brought in help. So I started using the VA system about 9 months ago. Changed the freaking game for me, but you can definitely be a lot more personalized if you're doing it yourself. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, great. What do I say to these brands when I pitch to them? Well, Bento will help you write a pitch, but I definitely would go in and make some adjustments and tweaks. This is the anatomy of a high performing pitch, and definitely some things that you want to kind of humanize in the pitch because it will be AI writing it for you. And these little tweaks took me from 0 to consistently booking 4-figure deals. So this is like gold, okay? First thing you want to do is make sure your pitch is personalized. And what I mean by that is if you got 2 inbounds, meaning a brand reached out to you and asked to work with you, and the 2 inbounds were completely different. The first one says, hey, Sydney, we love your educational style content. We would love for you to make some of that for our brand. We think it's super aligned with what we're looking for our brand. And we love this specific video that you did. We would love for you to recreate this with our brand, blah, blah, blah. Real quick, if you want my step-by-step roadmap on replacing your salary with UGC, then come join my next free UGC masterclass. I'll teach you exactly what UGC is, why it's the best time to get started, and how to start landing paid brand deals. The link is in the description. Second inbound that comes in is like, hey, dear, we love your shopping videos that you do. I don't do shopping videos. And we would love for you to work with us on a toothbrush. And we think that you would be a great fit for our audience. And we are offering an exchange of 1 toothbrush for 3 videos. Which pitch would you rather work with? The one that feels like they actually reached out to you. The one that feels like it's actually personalized to you. Like they paid attention to your content and they actually care about what kind of content you make. And they specifically sought you out. The first pitch, obviously. Same thing with brands. Like I said, it's literally just a girl on the other side and they're getting tons of pitches a day. So you want your pitch to stand out by being personalized to the brand. Maybe you personalize this to the industry. Like if you're reaching out to tech or SaaS brands, you have some quote in there, some line in there that's just very aligned with tech or SaaS brands. Or if you're pitching for a product for acne and you talk about how you have old acne pictures where your acne is really bad, so you have these before pictures, that's super valuable for brands. This shows brands that you actually know them and that you actually care about their content and even took 2 seconds to look at their content, not just, I love your brand, so I would love to work with you. Second thing you want to make sure you do is make value-focused statements, not generic statements. And I'm going to tell you a line that's in my actual pitch so that you can get a very clear picture of this, right? The line in my pitch without the value back statements is, I specialize in bold ideas and script writing for brands. Cool. Says who? What do you mean? Where did you learn that? What do you mean you specialize in that? This just feels like an empty statement, and it feels like, honestly, like it was written by AI. And that's one of the things that I see a lot in UGC creators' pitches, that they go, I specialize in high converting short form content. I can do testimonials and I can do, boo, everybody says that. Everybody says that. So you want to make statements, but back it up with evidence, right? Maybe you have marketing experience. Maybe you have photography experience. Maybe you have acting classes that you took. Maybe, I don't know what your experience is that's transferable, but really back this up. And so I'm going to tell you the difference in this line when you give supporting evidence. I specialize in bold ideas, like I stomped on an iPhone for a video once, and script writing for brands. I've written over 2,500 scripts for brands like Petco, Pact, and Blue Apron. That sounds like a way better freaking line than, oh, I specialize in bold ideas and short form videos. So do all of us. And if you have no experience, you have no transferable skills, which I'm sure you do, then you can talk about ideas that you want to implement. So you could say, I specialize in bold ideas, like I would love to stomp on a phone for your brand. Or something like, I've been doing some research and I saw that these are the top 3 performing hooks on social media right now, and I would love to implement these for your brand. If you're reaching out to do pet content, tell them about your pet. What kind of dog is it? What's their name? What's their personality like? Why should they care about having your dog, right? These are the things that are going to give supporting evidence, make you stand out, and actually make the pitch impactful. Third thing, you have to include your portfolio. Do not reach out to brands until you have example videos to reach out to them with. It is a waste of your time and a waste of the brand's time, because no brand is going to hire you without seeing examples. And if you don't have any examples, go around your house and pick up 3 to 5 products that you love and make examples and put them together in a portfolio. It's really, really, really simple, but do not pitch to brands without having some content available where they can see what your personality is like, what your camera presence is like, what your editing is like, what your lighting is like. Show them that you have skill sets that they should value. Fourth thing, you always want to end with a CTA, a question CTA specifically, okay? No more ending your email with, let me know if you would like to work together. No, that's boo. Boo, bad CTA. We want to end with something like, do you have any open collaborations for UGC this month? I would love to work together. Would you like to test out 2 or 3 videos to start, and then we can talk about a long-term collaboration? Yes or no questions. Be direct, be firm, and be confident. This adds a little layer of confidence. This is not like, let me know if you have time to work with me or if you think that I'm worthy of working with you. This is, I'm assuming you're going to want to work together because I'm freaking awesome. So how would you like to do that, basically? And the fifth thing that you want to remember when you're writing your pitch is no begging and no desperation. We want to change this from, I would love to work with you and I love your product, to this is why you should want to work with me. This shift in tone, this shift in confidence will change everything in your pitch. Once you've written out your pitch, you want to make sure you write a couple different templates. So I have about 4 or 5 pitches that I send to different niches. I have a SaaS pitch, a home pitch, a pet pitch. Okay. Like pick 5 or 6 brands, and then you can have one that's kind of more general for when you're reaching out to maybe niches that you didn't originally expect to be reaching out to, but write a couple different variations so that you have a little differences that seem a little bit more personalized when you're reaching out to these brands. For example, saying something like, I specialize in bold visuals. If you're reaching out to a tech or a SaaS brand, stopping on an iPhone would work. But if you're reaching out to a pet brand, that doesn't really work. Maybe we should personalize it for an idea that we have that's more closely related to the pet niche. Or if you're reaching out to a home brand, why would you be stopping on a phone in their video? Insert a different idea that makes more sense for that niche, right? This is how you can start to personalize it and really just create a couple different templates that you can reach out to different niches in. Now, once you start reaching out, you absolutely must track your numbers. You must track how many pitches you're sending. You must track how many pitches you're getting replied to, how many brand deals you're landing, what pitches are they, and Bento will do all of this for you. But how the hell are you supposed to know if your pitch is working or not if you're just going off of vibes and feelings? I can tell you right now, every single time I've ever asked somebody to actually track how many pitches they're sending or how many messages they're sending, it is substantially less than they thought they were sending. And I know this from network marketing, right? I used to say, oh, I'm sending hundreds of messages a day. I'm sending so many messages. And then I would actually track it, and it was like 30 to 50 messages, not hundreds. So I don't want to hear anything like, I pitch a lot. What does a lot mean? Because I have students that send 300 pitches a week. That's a lot. Tracking also gives you more pattern recognition, so you can start to notice which subject lines are working well, which maybe intros, maybe you mix things up a little bit, maybe you give different supporting evidence in different pitches and figure out what's getting more responses, what's getting more yeses. Then you can start to tweak and implement different things with your pitch. But just like with UGC, where multiple video testing the same video with multiple hooks is very valuable, the same thing goes for pitching. How are you going to know how to learn and improve if you're not testing different things? And then the last thing to understand with pitching is that it's not really fun. Like pitching is not fun, and it's not going to be fun if you're always constantly looking at the outcome. So what I want you to celebrate instead is I want you to set a daily number of pitches that you want to send. Maybe it's 10, maybe it's 20, maybe it's 30 pitches that you want to send a day, but we're going to celebrate every single day when we hit that number. Not when we get a paid brand deal. You can celebrate then too, but I talk about this all the time when talking about goals. Like you can't actually control how much income you make in a month, but you can control how many pitches you're sending. You can control the actionable steps that you're taking to get to that goal. So if your goal is to make $10,000 a month, you need to be sending more than 10 pitches a day, probably around like 200 to 300 a week. But let's make it easy. And let's say your goal is to send 100 pitches a week. That's literally 20 pitches a day, Monday through Friday. So every single day you're going to check off and celebrate when you send 20 pitches. Not when you land a brand deal. We're not going to go in and we're not going to critique ourselves and be hard on ourselves. We're going to celebrate and fall in love with the process, because unless you can fall in love with the process of pitching, you're always going to hate pitching, and you're never going to be able to build your UGC business because you're going to be putting it off all the time. We control activity, not outcomes. Activity, not outcomes. And this way, when you inevitably go through a dry spell where maybe you're not landing as many collaborations or you're not getting as many deals, you are prepared because you know we're focusing on activities, not outcomes. So I'm going to tell you exactly what pitching is going to look like, because you're going to start pitching and you're going to be like, Sydney said that this was going to build my business and it's not doing it so far. Okay. So I'm going to give you an exact timeline. Now, some people are going to start pitching and immediately they're going to start landing paid collaborations. I actually have a student, her name is Jessica. She sent 150 pitches on her first day, and I'm pretty sure closed like $2,000 in deals literally that day. But that is not normal. Okay. What is normal is having a little bit of lag time in between. So you can expect when you first start pitching, just look at it like you're casting your net. You're building your network. You are getting your name out there. You wouldn't expect, if you started dating, you wouldn't expect the first 10 people that you met to be your soulmate. You wouldn't expect the first 10 people that you got introduced to in your life to be your friends forever, right? Like, you understand how networking works, right? We're basically casting our net. We're basically saying, hey, I'm a UGC creator. I'm kind of new to the industry. Don't say that in your pitch though. And I'm building my network, okay? And think about it that way for the first, I don't know, maybe 1,000 pitches. If you land a brand deal before then, that's incredible and you should be really proud of yourself. But let's just expect that the first 1,000 pitches is going to be a little slow. You're going to be like, I'm sending a lot of pitches. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but hold on, okay? I will tell you that this is when most people quit. So if you send in your first week 100 pitches, and then your second week you send another 100 pitches, you now have 200 opportunities out there. And then you send another 100 pitches your third week. You now have 300 opportunities out there. 300 opportunities of brands that have your name, your portfolio, and your excitement in their inbox. They may just not have looked at it yet or responded to it yet. Or maybe they're working on putting together a campaign right now, and so they're waiting to get back to you until then. You don't know what's going on the other side, but most people will quit because they'll be like, nobody's answering me. Nobody's hiring me. I suck. But really, you're just building your network. You're planting your seeds, and you have to plant enough seeds. And I say this all the time to our students, but landing your first paid brand deal is going to be the hardest. But for whatever reason, it's just like a freaking domino effect after that. It's like a landslide. And this is exactly how it happened for me. I pitched for 3 months with no paid collaborations. On my 4th month, at the very end of the month, I landed one paid collaboration. It was an astronaut light for $150 for one video. And I was so excited because the next month, all of my hard work started paying off. It was like brand deal, brand deal, brand deal, brand deal, brand deal, brand deal, brand deal. But it was because I cast this net. It was because I built this network, right? So that's phase 1. And that's when most people quit. That's when most people give up. And then those people turn into haters on social media and go, UGC is a scam. No, it's not. And then you'll start to have kind of what we call the trickle, right? And this is where I started getting in some of those brand deals, right? I would have a brand deal over here, brand deal over there, brand deal over here. And you'll notice that brands that you reached out to maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, they're getting back to you today. They're now coming back to you. They're getting back in your inbox. They're ready to work with you now. But that wouldn't have happened if you had given up back then. So this is the trickle where the brand deals start to come in. They start to come in. They start to come in. And around 6 months or so, maybe 5 months if you're going real fast, maybe 4 months if you're going real fast, then you'll start to have this huge compound effect because you will have previous brands that you worked with in the trickle that you're now creating long-term relationships with, and they are working with you over and over and over again. And all of those pitches that you sent before are compounding on top of each other, on top of each other, on top of each other, on top of each other. And you start to work regularly with multiple brands. You start to get referrals from other brands. You start to have all of these brand deals going on. And this is when you start to really scale things. This is when you start to lock in those monthly retainers. You start to raise your prices. You start to really become a UGC creator. But you have to be prepared for this moment because most people will give up. Most people will give up in the first month, if I'm being realistic. But could you imagine if I gave up in my first month instead of getting to month 4 where all of a sudden everything changed? And now I'm at 3 years where I'm making $10,000, $20,000 a month and I've completely changed my family's life. That's insane. Also, if I had stopped when I first started pitching, if I had stopped in the first month, if I had stopped when everything around me was saying, this isn't working, Sydney, everything but my gut, mind you, my gut was pulling me in the right direction. If I had stopped then, UGC Mastery Academy wouldn't exist. I wouldn't have helped over 300 women start their UGC career. I wouldn't be doing this video right now to help you. Could you imagine the ripple effect of if I had stopped? Because that's what you're doing. You're cutting off an impact and a ripple effect that could change your life and so many other people's lives. And here's the hard truth that you need to understand. Pitching sucks. It's boring. Getting ignored sucks. Getting rejected sucks. Yeah, it all sucks. But it's those little activities, that the mundane activities, the boring habits that are going to actually build your business. Ask any successful person that you've ever met that makes $10,000 a month. They ate shit for a little while. They just did. And quite frankly, what sucks more is being broke or staying stuck or hating your life or never getting to create the life that you dream about every night. Personally, I would prefer a short-term trade of discomfort for the long-term comfort that I'm trying to create for our family. And I hope that you see that too. The boring habits is what helped Holly quit her job. It's what bought us our dream house. It's what has literally changed our life. And it's not sexy at all. If you ask anybody what has made them successful, it is built in these boring habits. It's not built in the sexy videos we make. It's not built in the actions. It's not built in the portfolio. It's not built in any of that. It's these little tiny actions where we sacrifice a little bit of comfort for long-term impact. So one habit, you need to be pitching brands consistently every single day, Monday through Friday. I'll even give you Saturday and Sunday off unless you want to plan them all on Saturday and Sunday and set them up to go out during the week. 99% of you won't do it because it's boring and it feels icky and it feels bad, and that's going to be the 1%'s benefit. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about how to become a paid UGC creator, then come to my next free live UGC masterclass. The link is in the description. I'll see you there.